It was a lift.
All righty. So, um, that's operator era. That was me. We were in the middle of.
And all of a sudden, you just disappeared. So I don't know.
Yeah, we was in the middle of a really good show, and so I don't know what just happened. So we have one more interview that we want to do, and we were interrupted in the middle of the, I guess we were doing the post wrap up of Phylicia Rashad, and there was still some stuff going on in the background. So when I tried to fix it, that didn't go well. So I was gonna say, telling you the David E. Talbert story, that I, moderated a baggage claim for him several years ago, and it was just an amazing piece of meeting this dude. He went to Morgan State. It was a lot of fun, man, hanging out with David E. Talbert, man. And after watching his career, Charles, I'll tell you the famous other funny story. As I was at BET as their film critic and content manager, and I wrote a review for a film he did called First Sunday, where the title of the review was Holy S, because that movie was terrible. So his brother is 20 years later, he's now back after the screenplay, and you heard Phylicia Rashad in the interview say that he worked on this thing for 22 years, man, to get this thing right, man. So it's pretty amazing, man. So let's go and see if I can not mess this up and see if we can get David E. Talbert, share my screen so we can have Wilson Morales talk with him. And let's see, Charles, you there? Charles, you there?
I'm here.
Charles is there. And here is Wilson Morales and David E. Talbert. Charles, we were able to make it happen.
Wilson Morales, Black Film TV. How's it going?
What's good, man?
Good. So, there are Christmas movies we get, and then there's a movie that's about Christmas time. And this is a movie that, as I watched this, this is a full production. This is not the regular, no disrespect to the other Christmas movies that we get around this time period. You went all out. How did this project come about for you?
Well, it's something I've been working on forever. And my wife came with the idea of turning it into a movie. It was always going to be a Broadway production. And that's when it took off. I went and sat down with Netflix, with Scott Stuber and Nick Nesbitt, and kind of just talk to them about the holidays and what an amazing time it is, and how the Black community and the world community loves it, and how there is not one movie of this scope or scale that has any representation of the world, of people of color. And, they paused and said, "You're right. It's time we do something about that." And that's when everything kind of started. And the idea wasn't to do a film that was a expected holiday film, but to do an epic, big event musical with scope and magic and wonder, and put us in places that we have never seen us in before. And that's why I'm so excited for the world to see it.
I think about filmmakers and how much latitude and resources they get to make a film. Sometimes, they don't always have everything to them.
Long time.
When you look at this movie, it's like the scope of it all, from the costume, the music, the production design. Not all filmmakers can get that, when they want to make a film based on budget, studios, and so forth. You were able to get that here. Were there any challenges when you have the resources?
The only challenge is your imagination. You've been taught so long that you got $2, and this film better not come over $2, or we ain't gonna make it. And for someone to say the most profound thing that anyone has ever said to me in this business is by Nick Nesbitt, when I was about to start writing Jingle Jangle, he said, "Don't write the budget, write your imagination, and we'll figure out the budget later." Now, my first thought was, I'm looking around for the cameras here, because I swore I had to be on candid camera getting punked or something. But who says that to an artist? Who says that? Write your imagination. And that's what I did. and the film's budget doubled because they took off the reins and there was no ceiling. And their intention was, Netflix is a global brand. They're in 191 countries and 32 languages. They didn't want something that just played in Philadelphia or Chicago or, you know, the urban market. They wanted something that would work for that market, but would work for the world. And they gave me all the resources, and they spoiled me now, because I'm not going back. I'm not going back.
You know, you're not straight to doing musicals, but when you put it on film, then you have to balance the music and the story, you know, and when to put them in and out, you know. Was that challenging? You know, you've done it on stage, but now you're putting it on film, you know, which is like...
Wilson, there was nothing in my past career that would lead anyone to believe this movie was going to have this kind of scope. One of the most telling things is my boy Bootsy texted me when he saw the trailer. He was like, yo, son, you made like a real movie. You know, they gave you like a budget. So, you know, it's credit to Netflix, credit to this world brand that they have, that they know that if you give filmmakers a budget to do what other filmmakers that don't look like, that aren't Black filmmakers have had, then what could that thing become? And this is the answer to what it could become. Black Panther was the answer to what it could become. The imagination of Jordan Peele, it was a smaller budgeted film, but his imagination, those reins, that's what it could become. It could become a phenomenon. And that's what we're hoping to say for Jingle Jangle, and it's unexpected.
You know, you got your leads. You know, before we talk about the kids, you know, let's talk about bringing on Forrest and Phylicia, two obviously powerful individuals, you know, to lead this. You know, Phylicia, you know, obviously we know her, you know, we know both their background, but, you know, was it an easy task of, hey, Forrest, I want to do this movie? Phylicia, you know, can you read the script?
I sat down. I've known Forrest for 10 years, and we were trying to figure out something to do, and it's never worked. And this one, to really bring this character, this iconic character, Veronica's Jangle, to life, I needed someone who would ground it and give it humanity, so it wouldn't come across cartoonish or like a caricature. And so there was only one person, Forrest. And so when I sat down with him at dinner in New York, Tribeca, at a vegan place. And first of all, my stomach was rumbling. I wanted a hamburger or some spare ribs or something so bad. It was a vegan place. The Forrest was just enjoying himself eating. I don't know what he was eating, but I didn't recognize anything of that damn menu. But he stopped in the middle of eating and said, "So you want me to play Veronica's?" And I said, "I don't want you to play it, I need you to play it. Because I need someone I can trust in front of the camera, and I need a big brother who I can lean on behind the camera as well." Because I knew it was a big undertaking, and you needed number one on that call sheet, somebody that would have your back. And I've never been on a set where someone had believed in me with all he had done in his career and gave me that support as number one on the call sheet. And that's what he did. And he set the tone for everybody. If this dude, one of the greatest actors of our generation, is trusting me, then they fall in line too. And that was the spirit of the set.
Then you have Phylicia, obviously, the story from the trailer, not to give anything away, but wow.
Well, I mean, Phylicia Rashad is royalty. She's the goddess, a goddess. You know, before we even started the film, Lynn came in the room. She printed out Miss Rashad's picture. She said, "This is the grandmother," and so we just had to wait to get to that point. But she was on our board from the beginning, because she, when I got a chance to see her on Broadway, I've seen her in many plays, but on Broadway in Raisin in the Sun. And she came in and grabbed that pot at the end of that play, the one Puffy was in. She came in, grabbed that, and then she looked around on that stage, and then she walked out. I'm like, whoa! It was the most profound moment, and she has so much power and so much nuance and so much charm and wonder just in her looks. So I knew she had to do it, and she exceeded all of my expectations.
Production design is a sight to see, and then there's the music and the kids. So before we get into music, you know, you have your lead girl, you know, and whenever you see these movies with a child as practically the lead, you always read these stories about, oh, there was a long, extensive search. How did you find, is it Madeline? You know?
Yeah, Madeline Mills.
Madeline Mills. Where did you find it? Did you have one of those long searches?
We did. We searched. We did a casting. We spread the net all across the world, and it took us about 3 months. And we were in trouble because we were 4 months away and we hadn't found her yet. And then we did one more big casting search, and we whittled it down to 10, 15, you know, young girls. And then we flew into New York. We whittled it down to 5. And so I flew in there and brought Forrest in to read with them. And Madeline, it wasn't even a fair fight. It wasn't even close. I mean, she came in there and she wasn't playing Journey. She is Journey. She's not playing a bold, bright, curious, inventive girl. She is bold, bright, curious, and inventive. She is magical. I feel like we're just introducing somebody to the world that we're going to be seeing for decades and decades to come. But she's a bad little girl, and she stole my heart.
Costume design is just amazing. You know, obviously, when you look at other Christmas movies, you don't see that. You know, these individuals are dressed like, oh, you know, they're royalty. You know, how they wake up in the morning, how they go to sleep at night. You know, you can't take off as like, oh, they're really well dressed here, you know?
Yeah, you see Phylicia Rashad come out in that red, you say, okay, this is something special.
You know, and then there's the music, you know, obviously the songs, you know, when you're the director of it all, you know, you're being pitched the songs, you know, how many songs did it take before you said, okay, that one sounds well, yes, I'm gonna use this one, that ballad works well, and so forth.
Well, Phil Lawrence, who came on board first, my music supervisor, Julia Michaels, introduced me to him, and he wrote all the, you know, Bruno Mars songs with Bruno. And so I knew he had a pop sensitivity, but I knew that his, it was for the world, because Bruno Mars, there's no corner in the world you go to and you're not hearing Uptown Funk or any of those songs. So he delivered Possible first. And when I heard Possible, I said, okay, I wasn't expecting this. And then Miles and Miles and Magic Man G and With Love, and they just started rolling in one after another. And usually it takes 5-10 years to develop a musical. And he wrote these songs in about 4 months.
You know, before we wrap, you know, where do you go from here once you've been on this type of production, where you had all the tools here, you know, now you want this for all your projects, you know, where do you go from here and what do you want to do next?
It's the biggest blessing to be able to create on this kind of, you know, this landscape. And I can only continue to expand and broaden, because right now we've kicked the door open, and Ryan Coogler kicked it open with Black Panther, and Jordan Peele with, you know, Get Out, and you know, there's a great big world out there, and the canvas now is as broad as your imagination can make it. So for me, it's continuing to expand my mind, to know that cliche as it is film, but anything is possible. Anything is possible. And so thank you, Netflix. You have blessed me and spoiled me.
It's always good talking to you. Obviously, I think I've talked to you for most of your film projects. You know,
of course, from the hotel room for baggage claim, we've been all over the place, man.
You know, you were working. I always say, when you're working, I work. You know, so that's what we need—a synergy to continue, so we both can continue to do and spread the word and love and the talent. So keep working.
Always bring a smile, seeing your face, your name that's coming up, and man, continue to do what you do, brother. It's needed.
Appreciate it. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Wilson Morales, Black Film TV.
All right, Charles. And we're back. Hey, man. You're on mute.
No, I'm not.
Okay, you're not on mute? Okay, I was just checking, man, because I was like, where are you, bruh? All right, so, hey, man. Wilson asked a lot of the questions that I would have asked, and you heard him say he cut brother off when he was talking about Madeline Mills, man. Madeline Mills is special.
She's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Okay, so Charles, before we get out of here, man, talk a little bit about what your thoughts, because we rarely get an opportunity. We both have done separate reviews, didn't watch it together. So what did you think about Jingle Jangle?
I thought this is a special experience that is going to be an instant Christmas classic for a lot of people. I think this movie is outstanding. And I say from now on, give him the budget that he needs for whatever movie he was going to make, because David Talbert knocked it out of the box with this one. Knocked it out of the box.
Look, I agree with you, man. I think it's interesting to hear him say, because I know David E. Talbert's story that, from First Sunday to Baggage Claim and some of the other smaller projects he's worked. This is by far the biggest budget he's ever had in a film. And to hear him say that Netflix told him to write for your imagination, not for budget, that's huge. And that's something, as he said, and I agree with him when you talk about Black Panther, when you talk about what Jordan Peele did with Get Out. You have creatives now, man, that are just doing their thing, man. And I'm applauding these brothers, because you and I both know that the world that we're living in as it relates to Black creatives and telling our story from our points of view, it's only been about the last 5 to 10 years, man. It's not like this has been going on forever. We always had to have, the white gaze in our movies, the white buddy, the sidekick, So what I will say to Jingle Jangle, man, is that I just thought it's going to be an instant holiday classic. And I said it in my review that for all of the folks who love this Christmas, and you know who you are, if you're watching people, gotta play this Christmas, it's Christmas time. But Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey, add that to the list. That is a must-see Christmas film, not just this year, but moving forward. Original story, between Lifetime, Netflix, and all the other services, man, there's so many different Christmas movies that I've seen so far this year. Operation Christmas Drop, this Christmas story, that Christmas story. But this movie stands out. And David E. Talbert, brother, amazing job. I gave the movie a B+. I should go back in and reconfigure. That's a new word. That's not a real word. Reconfigure and make my review like an A or an A-. What did you give it, Charles?
I gave it an A-. I thought it was outstanding. This is a family film too, and where you talk about this Christmas, a lot of people watch this Christmas. It's not going to reach children like Jingle Jangle is going to be. Everybody can sit down and watch this for every Christmas.
Right. Well, that there you have it, man. We normally don't do special episodes of an entire movie unless we were doing like The Godfather, Charles's favorite. But I want to thank you guys for hanging in there. 426, the home edition. It was interesting. Look, Charles, it was interesting. We tried to multitask.
It was a journey.
Pretty much. Hey, man, we enjoy having you guys here. We want to thank Wilson Morales, man, of course, who sat down with both Phylicia Rashad and David E. Talbert from Jingle Jangle. You can go and check it out now. It is on Netflix. As we say in church, it will bless you. Until next week, man. You guys, we tell you in closing every week, please see something good at the movies. We've been talking about it all day. Charles, tell them what the movie's called, man.
It's called Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey.
Boom. Boom. Drop the mic. Until next week, we out, man. You guys take care.